let's talk about herbs and fresh greens. I have some flat Italian parsley here, I have some fresh basil, and I have some Swiss chard. So what we're going to do is start with the parsley. But before I start chopping my herbs, of course, I have to wash them. So I've washed them and I've dried them really well. The drier they are when you put them away, the longer they will last. A salad spinner works great. Also, the drier they are when you cut them, the nicer cut you'll get. So if you don't like to use a knife to cut herbs, you can also use your super shears. But I'm going to use my chef's knife for my parsley. Now, the stem of the parsley has a lot of flavor in it, so I want to include some of the tenderest stems. So I'm going to start out by cutting the parsley into manageable sizes. And once I have it roughly chopped, I'm going to take my chef's knife and I'm going to run back and forth, holding on to the pointed end, back and forth until I get it the size that I want it. When I use fresh herbs in my cooking, I like to see the herbs, so I don't chop them too finely. And you see how nice and light that is? That's because the parsley is nice and dry. So keep your herbs nice and dry and cutting them will be a lot easier. Let's go on to some basil. I'll turn my chef's knife over and I'll just slide my parsley to the side. Now I'm going to take some of my basil, and what I'm going to do is something called chiffonade. Chiffonade is a way to slice or cut your basil into julienne slices. So lay the leaves one on top of each other, roll them up, and then take your chef's knife and just slice as thinly as you can across your little rolled up basil leaves. You get these really nice, light, thin shreds called chiffonade. The other way that you could do this is to use your scissor or your super shears. So I'll do the same thing. I'll take my basil leaves, I'll roll them up, but instead of using the chef's knife, I can take my super shears, and just cut with those. Some people would prefer the shears to the knife. It's really up to you. Now I also have some Swiss chard here, which I'd like to saute with some garlic and some crushed red pepper. So in order to do that, I'm going to lay the leaves one on top of the other, roll them up, just like I did with my basil. I'll cut it in half, and then I will just slice across the Swiss chard like so. This will be ready to go into my saute pan with a little extra virgin olive oil, crushed garlic, and crushed red pepper.